What?
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to the Waking Up Spiritually podcast. It's such a privilege to have you here with us today. I'm Wendy Rose Williams, and I am a past life energy healer, and I help people release energy that does not serve them, whether it's chronic pain, physical and or emotional, whether it is anxiety, depression, or other stuck energy that just does not serve you. I am so happy to help you release that, heal that, come to terms with that, and just be able to live a much happier, healthier life and feel that you can align with your purpose. My website is wendyrosewilliams.com, and I'll turn it over to Gregg Kirk, my co-host, and we also have a wonderful special guest today.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gregg Kirk. I'm an energy healer as well, with some expertise in Lyme disease and chronic illnesses. I help patients with that at my Lyme Recovery Clinic. That you can go to lymerecoveryclinic.com. For my personal website, go to greggkirk.com. That's GREGGKIRK.com. And I do some weekly events, an online group healing circle that I lead through Zoom. So come check me out there, either place, Lyme Recovery Clinic or greggkirk.com. So without further ado, I'm going to get our deck up and ready, Wendy.
So perfect. So for those of you who are watching as well as listening, you can see we do have a PowerPoint, and it is my privilege to introduce Ann Tucker. Ann has a profound connection with the angels. She is an angelic trance channel, and she is also an author. And the name of her book is Undoubtedly Awesome. And she's a channel, Anne is a channel for information and healing from the angelic realm. And she helps souls take advantage of this time of rapid healing and ascension. And as a trance channel, Anne enters a meditative state where she connects to the angelic realm and allows the angels to speak directly through her. And the practical, poetic, and inspiring messages that she brings through offer angelic guidance and healing frequencies to help us prepare and usher us through the planetary shift in consciousness. And Anne shares these messages weekly on her popular YouTube channel to over 25,000 subscribers. And Anne's website is Anne spelled with an E, tucker.com, and her YouTube is at Ann Tucker. And Anne is joining us today for a terrific reason, to share how we can all connect with the angelic realm in a meaningful way. So Gregg's going to bring her on now, and she's going to talk with us about that and offer just some of her experiences and tips and techniques for connecting with the angels. So
Here she is.
Anne,
Hello, hello. Great to see you guys.
it's wonderful to have you here with us. So, Anne, could you tell us a little bit about how you started connecting with angels with the thought of just helping inspire others so that they feel empowered that they can do the same thing? Because my goodness, it's just a different process for all of us.
Yeah, so true. And I would say it's going to be like I think you mentioned, you brought up a good point in your question, which is that it is different for everybody. That we all come from, in terms of like who our guides are, that there may be beings that want to connect with you who are, past relatives who want to be guides, and there may be people from other beings from other places want to connect with you. And angels will also be part of that mix. But to form a stronger connection with the angels, for me, it was a process of first believing that angels are real. And that was definitely, yeah. I mean, like did not grow up with any religion, and it wasn't something that I was taught. And so it seemed like I've seen too many drawings of cherubs and, you know what I mean, Hallmark cards with angels, and you know what I mean? It just seemed like, oh, that's for, angels. But they're real. I will tell you, they are 100% real. And they will appear to us in the way that we will see, the way that makes the most sense to us in our own mind. And I will say the way that I see them when I connect with them is sometimes when they're very close, they will show up to me as a being, as a human. You know what I mean? I'll feel a wing wrap around me or a arm wrap around me. I feel their presence right here. When I see them at a distance, I see them as a column of light that almost looks geometric and shimmery. And then in the center of it, there's sort of a angular face.
Mm.
And so, yeah, so that's how I see them. And in terms of my initial connection with them, it was the willingness to.
How did that originally come through? For some people, it's a near-death experience or a spiritually transformative experience. Other people just grow up being able to connect. But what
Yeah.
happened for you?
Yeah, so I had been working as a healer for many years. I was a clairvoyant channel, clairsentient, clairaudient, but I was not yet a trance channel. And in my channeling, I was connecting to my guides, you know what I mean? But I didn't have a real sense of who my guides were. They were just, I would get images, I would get messages, I would feelings, all this kind of stuff, but I didn't know really who was talking to me. And it wasn't until I was out meditating one morning and I all of a sudden felt like what I thought was my guides were trying to sit on my chest and on my forehead. And it was this feeling, it was so much pressure, I could barely breathe. It was, I mean, it was like, it was intense pressure. And I just sat there and I thought, okay, like my guides, when I would heal, would come in through my back all the time. They would come in through my back and they would come through me and work on people. And this time they were coming in through the front and I could not understand. I thought they were trying to sit on my lap. I was like, and I'm saying like, come on in already. Like, what are you guys doing? And this went on, no joke, for 6 months. The minute I would close my eyes to go into meditation, boom, it would be this, and it was painful, this intense pressure where I couldn't breathe. And it would be, I mean, literally the minute I started to meditate, and I finally, it dawned on me that they weren't trying to come in, they were trying to lift me up. They were trying to raise my frequency up so that they could connect with me. And it was literally the minute I realized that, and I kind of opened my crown chakra, zoop, I went up. And I got into a space, and I think it's it's harder for them to come all the way down to where we are. So we kind of got to bridge the distance. So they brought me up, and all of a sudden, being clairvoyant, I could see I was in this space with all these angels. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like surrounded by all these beings in white robes and the whole thing, and which is appearing the way that I would want to experience them,
Right.
And then I'm super excited. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, great. Like tell me the secrets of the universe, And then nobody says anything. They just sit there and smile at me. And I mean, like they literally said nothing, crickets. And this went on for 6 months. I would close my eyes in meditation. No, I close my eyes for meditation. I'd go up immediately. And then we hang out and look at each other for 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you think you were maybe acclimating?
I think it was a process of me figuring out how to do it. And I know that because there have been times like there was one time specifically where the angels tried to bring through a particular angel who did not know how to channel. And it was terrible. Like it was a terrible experience for me because the energy was like so choppy and the words were like everywhere. And it was like, and they finally pulled him out and they're like, we're going to regulate his energy before we try this again. And I think it's a thing where we have to learn. And this is me describing channeling. And I just want to be clear because your question originally was how do people connect with the angels? People don't have to channel the angels to connect with them. That this is my experience as a trance channel, which is going to be a slightly different journey than what most people have. But it might be interesting for people just because it does show I'm a skeptical person. Like I said, no religious background. I did not expect this to happen. And it happened. And it's real. So after 6 months of doing this,
common denominator for the three of us, Anne, is here's three of us with business backgrounds.
Yes.
We did not come to this from early in life. We came to this through profound experiences that woke us up and changed us and made us realize there's a better way. There's a different way for us. And we all came to energy healing in different ways, and we're all channels. So did not put that together before.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope it is more relatable for people to understand. It's like we are not, people from the rainbow colony. We are like people from business school is who we are. So yeah, so it's definitely, it took a lot for me to overcome my own doubt and to overcome my own skepticism. And so that was a lot of what was happening in this year-long process of finally trying to figure out how to channel them. Is eventually it dawned on me that I would go up, but it dawned on me that I needed to stay down. I needed to keep a part of me here and a part of me up there. So what I ended up doing after 6 months is I finally said, well, maybe if I just sit down and try, maybe I will hear them. And so I sat down with pen and paper and I just said, okay, I want to make sure that this is working. I want to make sure that I'm out of the way. So I just said, okay, if you guys are talking to me now, give me a word, one word. And sure enough, it's like a pipe was up here and a word comes down, and I write it down and I just did that. I said, okay, another word, another word, another word. And I'm thinking this is gobbledygook. Like this makes no sense at all, and I thought this isn't working the whole time. It's everything I could do to force myself to keep going because I thought this is so stupid. And I get to the end and I got half a page. I step back and I look at it, blew my mind. It was profound. I had no awareness when it was coming through that it had any meaning at all. And it was poetic. It was deep. It was meaningful. It was intelligent. It was poetic. It was like, holy cow. Okay, I guess this works. And then slowly I went from that to then finally telling me, just speak it. That will come through your vocal cords. And so,
Do you remember what that first message was?
I should have kept it. I probably have it somewhere.
Right.
Some of the early ones, I just wrote in a notebook, you know what I mean? And I don't know if I
It
should
came
look.
as like an automatic writing is what I'm hearing.
It sounded like it was like one word at a time though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was very careful to do one word at a time because I was trying really hard not to try to understand it. I was trying to just get and not remember what the last word was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
cool. So
Yeah.
cool.
But I think, you were asking, like, what about for people who just want to feel their own angels, just want to know that they're supported by the angels? And I think that is such a great question because we all have our own guardian angel. That's 100%, that every single person, whether they want to admit it or not, they've got angels around them. And that integration is much deeper than we realize. Like I always thought that guardian angel was kind of hovering around us or behind us, kind of like, protecting us. But they are the guardians of our divine essence inside of us. So they are actually like almost like a host. like we are so connected to they are in us. They're in us, they're around us, they're part of us. They are integrated with us. So it's much like they can't leave until we leave. So they're deeply intertwined with our guardian angels, deeply intertwined with us. And what they are guarding is our soul. Yeah, our divine essence, that spark of the divine that we carry.
So these beings, have you found this information out? Like, who are they? Why are they attracted to us as individuals? Do we have some past with them, or what? Or are they assigned to us? I mean, how does that work?
Yeah, I love that question, Greg. The angels have described themselves to me as an essence, that we think of them as like individual angels, like Archangel Michael or Gabriel, and we have these names, and those are all real. And those are, imagine that the three of us magically ascended all at once and became a unified consciousness. And we would all be one being, right? We'd be one. But within that one being, there would still be my identity and your identities.
Yes.
And so at any point, we could be everywhere. We'd be unified consciousness, but somebody would be like, I'm praying to Wendy. And then like Wendy would appear, you know what I mean? Out of that essence.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how the angels are, is that they have all of these various identities that are within them. And then they are at the same time. So Archangel Michael can appear and can be anywhere. He can, out of that essence, he can shoot Archangel Michael and then gone, and that, so they say that, so they are in essence, they are literally everywhere. And they are, in terms of, sorry, you were asking about, there was a second piece to your question.
Well, it's kind of like, what's the uniqueness? What's our relationship with them as individual? And what you're describing, I've heard it's collective consciousness.
Yeah.
But there's a separate identity to each of the individuals in that collective consciousness, right?
Yeah, 100%. And they have said that they are attracted to us like a moth to a flame because we carry the divine spark inside of us. So what they say is that they are the divine light and we carry the divine spark. And that's the difference. So we are the creative essence of the divine. So we create, so our very being is constantly, everything around us is becoming us all the time. So we are changing our environment constantly just by being. We're projecting and changing our reality. Angels aren't like that. Like they can create, they can be like, you've probably heard amazing stories of like, more like where they had 3 loaves of bread and then all of a sudden they had 10 loaves of bread and then like the angels made more bread. Like they can do that. They can make bread. Like they can
Right.
make something out of nothing, but their essence is not generating their environment. They exist in our environment. They exist in sort of like the all and the every, but they are not. We are this divine spark that is just by existing, we're transforming our surroundings. So they call that the divine spark. And to them, it's a piece of magic. It's something that is a piece of God or source, however, whatever your name is, that it's like same way we would be drawn to the light when we cross over. There's this amazing light and we're drawn to it. They feel the same way about us.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's comforting and reassuring.
Yeah.
And I just would like people to know, and I mean this to be a question, Anne and Gregg, you too. Do you feel anyone can connect with angels if they wish to, or do you think that's for a certain group of people, or what are your thoughts on that?
I very much believe that anybody can connect with them to the degree that they can have a physical feeling or experience of the angels. And I see that and you know that, Wendy, because we have done a lot of work together. And I know people that have been in my programs that will feel them that have never felt them before. And it can be,
Absolutely.
yeah, you agree. And yeah, and it could be the feeling of like angels will often feel like cold, like a temperature shift, like a feeling of cold or shivers can happen. It can be a feeling of lightheadedness, like what I got when I first started channeling the angels. It would be the shift in frequency was so much that it was like putting a helmet of pressure over me that came down to about here, and it just squoze my head and it was painful, absolutely painful. So you can feel it as pressure, a headache. You can feel it as chill, chill. You can feel it as tingling in your body. There are times that some people report where the angels literally move them physically, will shift them in their posture,
Right. Like an energetic chiropractic type of
Yes.
movement
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
help your body. Often
Yeah.
they're working on our spine, and they're
Yeah.
just working to, bring in more light to it. Because think of how important our spine is to our entire body, and for us to just feel that love and support.
Yeah.
And I just want to reiterate again, I don't see angels as being anything to do with being Christian or Catholic. I see them as this amazing energy form
Yeah.
that's available to people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just
And
find
it's just
your way to
endlessly
connect.
loving. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Helper spirits that have unbelievable capacity for unconditional love.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and the
Absolutely.
support and the wisdom, and just the uplift for us. So certainly, I mean, you've touched on several ways to connect, which is via prayer, via meditation, via
Yeah.
automatic writing.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts for how people can choose to connect?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say that that when you're trying to work with the angels, it is a process of developing your sensitivity to them. That they are a very, very different, very high frequency. So the thing I would say, if you want to connect with them, the first thing you want to do before you, like at the beginning, like say you're going to go in to meditate, and you're like, I really want to feel my angels. The first thing you want to do is raise your frequency. And the easiest way to do that, from my experience, like, is to focus on something you're grateful for, is to get into the vibe of gratitude. It's an immediate mood shifter. And so just think of it as like you're changing your mood. So whatever, if you go into it and you're like, I had a crummy day, like, okay, if you're going to do this, you got to think gratitude, you got to feel gratitude. And you'll know you're feeling it when you start to just kind of like smile, like out of nowhere, you'll have a smile on your face. Okay, you're there. So now you're in the vibe of gratitude. And then you want to speak out loud to your angels. So people sometimes wonder, can angels read our thoughts? It needs to be spoken like they are so careful about not violating our free will that
Yes.
it needs to be something that is put into thought form, a specific thought form, which is verbalized. So when you say it out loud, then they can take action. So you get into that form of gratitude, and then you speak out loud to them, whatever your intention. You say, I would like to feel my angels. I would like to, sense my angels. I would like to feel your presence, whatever it is, whatever you want to say. There was one person in one of my peace bathing sessions who had a crystal on her knee, and she says, I want to charge my crystal. And she must have had, and you have that gift, Wendy, and not many people do, the gift to work with crystals. And which is a rare one, to really be able to work with the consciousness of crystals. But she must have had that because like literally in the middle of the session, the crystal on her knee started vibrating and moving around. So the angels were listening to her because she spoke it out loud and doing that. But anyway, so you speak your intention. And then the thing I would say is, this is not a one-time thing. This is like going to the gym, that it is a process of developing your sensitivity. So it's get into the space, have the expectation that this is going to work, and then do it. Give yourself like a 30-day challenge. Say, every day for 30 days, I'm going to do this, where I'm going to get into gratitude. I'm going to say my intention out loud, and then I'm just going to be present. And I'm going to be body aware, be in your body, be paying attention, and then try your best to keep your and what it feels like when your crown chakra is open, it feels a little bit like, how do I describe it?
Fuzzy.
A little fuzzy. If you can even just visualize yourself going up a little bit, almost like lifting up a little, like visualize yourself stretching up, lifting up,
Right.
like it's a feeling of like this kind of a feeling on the top of your head. And if you just visualize that, it kind of helps to get things flowing.
Yes, you can visualize walking upstairs. You can visualize
Yeah,
going
that's
up an
great.
escalator or hiking up a hill. That's what I do with clients to help them
That's a
connect.
great idea. That's bringing your hypnotherapy expertise into it. I think that's a great idea.
And I just always find it best and easiest to connect up by grounding first.
100%. Thank you for mentioning that. Yeah.
Really grounded, really in my body, and then
Yeah.
can lift, everything up to connect.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yes. And so I would make that part of the process, ground, and then try to open up. And I would be very, very specific when you open, is I would like to connect with my angels specifically, because you just don't want to open yourself to any old thing that's out there.
Well, yeah,
And then,
I mean, would
yeah.
be a good idea to do a protection, recitation.
Yeah. I do actually have a incantation that people can use if they want to make sure they're clear, which I could share. And it's just a very simple set of words that people can use. Think of it as like a prayer or an incantation, if that feels better, that they can say to help clear their field when they channel, when they're trying to connect. If that would be helpful, I could
Yes,
share
you're
it.
welcome to
Yeah.
share that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here it is. So if you, and people, we could just do it now. If you guys want, we can just close our eyes and do this now.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just go ahead and get settled in your body. And as Wendy said, you want to drop down from your tailbone and get a nice thick root that goes down and anchor it into the ground, and follow that all the way to the center of the earth. And then follow along with these words. Please clear my field and all my belongings of any disharmony I may take near or through my being. Ask me, please, with my own army, for the entrance to my journey. Clear that thought of entrance which I would yield to one of negative employ. Clear me now in my arrivals and departures, and in my passage through life. Leave me well and rested. And that's it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, very, very simple incantation, but those are super powerful. I have given those incantations to people before who've used them, who are healers, who use them with clients and different ones. But it's an easy way. If you would say that at the beginning of your channeling session, make sure that your field is open, your field is clear. So it's definitely another technique that people can use to make sure that they're hearing angelic voices and nothing that they don't want to hear.
So was that given to you by
During a
the-
channeling, it was
Yeah.
in one of the Friday Live messages that the angel shared with us some years ago. It was from, let's see if I can find when that was from, if it was dated.
Hmm.
Let's see here.
And
Where
while you're
was it?
looking for that date, Anne, what
Yeah.
I'm finding is, and I'd love you both to comment on this, I'm finding there are so many more angels because Earth is at a really pivotal time. So
Yeah.
I believe it's easier, and we're really meant to, again, it's a free will choice, as you said, but if we
Mhm.
want to, I want people to know you are worthy of it,
Yeah.
because this can bring up, for some people, it can bring up some shame or lack of self-worth, and it's like, oh my goodness, angels, that's too big for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not worthy of that because of childhood issues or religious conditioning.
Right.
And I just want you to know my personal belief, and again, please weigh in on this. I believe we're all being invited to connect with the angels.
100%.
We
I
all,
totally agree. And that's actually one of the things the angels have said is they don't want us to put them on a pedestal because what they want is closeness with us. They want communion with us. They want to be one with us. And you can't be one with something that you've kind of got up on a pedestal. So they don't want us to be over reverential. Talk to them like you would talk to your dearest loving friend. Like always be kind and respectful, but loving like you would, your very best sibling. You know what I mean? Somebody that you just really, really love that loves you and not too formal because it creates space between you and the angels and they want to be part of our experience. They want to be here with us. So, another simple thing that people can do, and this is not something you have to do, but they mentioned it before, and I will tell you, it's a funny thing how it plays out in my life, is that the angels one time gave a message where they talked about the 4 different directions, and they've said that the angels are in the north. So if you face north when you are trying to connect to the angels, it can help a little bit. And I think it's really funny that when I move, sure enough, my office just happens to be on the north side of my house. And it's, it just kind of works out that way. So, so just facing north can be another thing you can do. And it's like I said, you don't have to, you can connect to them anywhere, anytime. Your own angel is with you inside you at all moments,
Right.
but it can help a little bit. So why not try it? It's an easy thing to do, face north. And then another simple thing that they've mentioned, and this is just from years of different messages, if you kind of put them all into one list, is that the angels had this beautiful message that they gave about bringing in the dawn and how the energy of the dawn, that the energy of renewal is an angelic energy. And so the dawn, that morning light, is a light of renewal. And they said the angels, and it's almost like you can see trumpeting angels riding right in front of the sun as it comes across the sky. And they are bringing in the energy of renewal every single morning.
the
Wow.
herald, the
So,
dawn.
yeah, the dawn. And so that is a beautiful time. Like if you have it in you to get up for the dawn, maybe doing it during the winter when it comes really later, a lot later. But if you can get up and try to connect with them in the dawn, that is a beautiful time to do it.
Very cool.
Also, just pay attention. I am not especially clairvoyant. My other clairs are stronger,
Yeah.
but it's getting to the point where we can start to see them.
Yeah.
I'm talking physically catch them out of the side, out of the real corner of your eye.
Yeah.
And I was in the most mundane place of all, and I'm shopping in Costco.
Everything happens in Costco.
Over my left eye, I saw an angel. And I literally turned my head. I'm like, that's an angel flying around in Costco. So I'm kind of like trying to because I knew about speaking aloud, and I'm like mumbling to myself, why are you here in Costco? What's going on?
What's going on in
Thank
Costco?
you. Thank you for letting me see you.
It
And
was the food samples. They were there for the samples.
Right.
to enjoy us all enjoying the food samples.
They're there for the
There was a
prices.
lot. So enjoyment through us. But what the angel said was, well, what better place to be? Because I can just be here for a couple of hours and I can uplift thousands of people at
Yeah.
Costco on a Saturday, because so many people just trundle on through here. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
uplifting humanity.
Yeah.
And I left that Costco just going, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. And I think it's really interesting to think about, like as we think about these beings are around us all the time. They want to help us. They're attracted to us. They love us. They are pure love. They don't want to interfere with our free will. So they have, I'd say the one thing about like there's a lot of sort of unemployed angels that are out there, and I've heard that term before, the unemployed angels that you can call on, but they don't have the stick-to-itiveness that is a human quality. In other words, if you ask an angel to do something and that angel doesn't have that in their wheelhouse, then they don't go, oh, well, I better stay and solve this problem. They're just like, oh, it must not be me. And then they go away.
Right.
So like in the same way that when you're trying to build your connection, like don't do it once, do it every day for a while and keep working at it. And then you'll get a glimmer and you'll be like, wait, was that it? And spend a little bit more time and a little more time and you'll open more and more. Like they are, when you set that intention, they will try to work with you, but you got to show up. And same thing when you ask for the angel's help on something, you might even want to phrase it and say, okay, I would like help with this particular thing. And if you don't know how, find me an angel who does.
Hmm.
Like be clear, like know that their number one prime direction is not to interfere. And so the one thing they may do is not, they may give you more freedom than you want. You know, they may be too disinterested because they don't want to step on your toes. And if they don't know how to solve it, then they, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll let that, you know, they don't want to solve it for you unless you ask them to.
Right.
Right. That's
Wow.
that's just so interesting. Because yes, they're different energetic beings
Yeah.
than us. So it's just learning each other, and I think the beautiful teamwork and how we can work together.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
And
know another thing that I love as an easy way for people to connect with their angels like tomorrow, which is just so fun
yeah,
and encouraging, is to request out loud for a sign. And it can be asked for something that you are going to believe. So, like I will tell you, there are times that I've gotten signs. Like one time I was like, okay, if all this is real, like I was just having a lot of doubt that day. I'm like, I'm on the road on an overpass driving, and I was trying to think of something that would be really unexpected to find on a freeway. And I thought of, okay, what is a color you never see, like in terms of what colors of cars and stuff like that. You never see orange cars. So I'm like, okay, if this is real, show me the color orange. You know, the next thing, like show me it in the next few minutes. In the minute, like the minute I said the color orange, boom, there was a orange cone that had been left behind somewhere by some road crew, who knows when, right there. And it happened so fast that I'm like, wait, I wasn't ready. That didn't count. Like, so it was like, boom, it was there. And and that's the one thing you can say is when you ask for it, sometimes it shows up before you've even finished the asking, it shows up in front of you. But
yes,
it can be, feathers are a wonderful way to connect, and you'll find feathers in the
coins.
places. So,
Hmm.
and I will tell you one really cool thing. My dad gets spoken to from his angels with pennies all the time.
Hmm.
And it'll be pennies out of nowhere. And the weirdest one of all is one time he was in the shower and looked down in the shower between his feet. All of a sudden, there was a penny.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So ask your angels for a sign, and you can make it. And one of our friends, mutual friends, Wendy, one time was really needing a sign from the angels, and she asked for a penny. She's like, I really want a penny, but it was during COVID, and she wasn't going anywhere. She was never leaving her house. And then she's like, well, I didn't get my sign. I've been waiting. And finally, like 2 or 3, 4 days later, she finally goes out and they go to this one store and she walks in and the entire floor is made of pennies. They've been glued into the floor surface. It's like, there you go. How about a penny?
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
What's
Yeah.
what's the most memorable or amazing, message or experience you've had that like comes to mind right now with
Oh
your
my
interactions?
gosh.
I mean,
I
I'm sure
think,
you've had a bunch, but
yeah.
what are the top couple of ones that you like to tell people about?
Top experiences, I would say one of I've had some mind-blowing experiences, some healing experiences that absolutely rocked me. But I think the most recent one that was just incredible was I was just about to go to sleep. I was in that weird state between awake and asleep. And I was mostly asleep, I think. And then all of a sudden I became aware of I thought it was my partner standing at the bed next to me. I thought it was and I thought he was awake for some reason. And so naturally I'm like, oh, I'm trying to ask him, like, are you okay? Like, why are you up? And he's standing right here. And I could see just his outline. I could see the light around him, but I couldn't. He was dark, and then there was a light because there was a window behind him, a light around him. And I'm rolling over. I'm like, "Oh, honey, are you all right? What's wrong? Why are you up?" And I don't hear any answer back. And at the same time, I'm half in a dream state, so I'm kind of half still dreaming and half still aware that he's standing there. And my dream was about Yeshua, about Jesus, and Yeshua in my dream was holding his hands out to me like this, had his hands down, holding his hands out, and he was breathing this funny, crazy breath sound.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm dreaming about this. I see this outline of what I think is my partner, and I don't hear a response. I'm confused. So I wake myself all the way up and realize there's nobody there. And it was Yeshua had appeared by my bedside.
Wow.
And yeah, right. And I was so sure he was real that I freaked out. And I got up and immediately started energetically clearing the room because I'm like, there's a man in my room. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Right.
and after I calmed down, like, oh my gosh, I think I just cleared Yeshua from my room. But I put two and two together and realized he had come to tell me that I was meant to do breath work. So he's telling me to start using breath work as a tool in my process.
Mhm.
So, which was
He
amazing.
was
But
demonstrating.
yeah, demonstrate. He's giving me offering hands and demonstrating the breath work, which was just so amazing. But it was so real. I was speaking out loud, thinking it was somebody there. But to me, it was amazing. And that just happened like 6 months ago.
Hmm.
So, and that was the most, like, to me, because it was so compelling. To the point where it freaked me out when I woke up, And yeah, so that was amazing. Just an amazing experience. It was, yeah. So it's fun to be on the path. It's really fun.
So what are the kind of things you work on with your clients?
Oh, well, the biggest thing I'm working on right now is a program called Soul Convergence, which Wendy has participated in. And it's definitely the calling I am feeling very deeply about. I do two different types of healing right now. I'm a healer, predominantly I'm a healer. Yes, I share messages and I'm a trance channel, but that's for the purpose of healing. And it's part of the shift and trying to bring us, help us all to take advantage of this opportunity as we are heading into this enormous shift in consciousness, to be able to take advantage of the healing that we can do. Because there will be a time when we are no longer in this karmic construct, where we are past it and we won't have the ability to heal to the same degree that we do now. So there's this urgency to take advantage and do as much as we can. And so I have two programs. I have Soul Convergence and I have Peace Bathing. Peace Bathing is a monthly program of healing meditations that I do with people that helps them to shift and adjust to the new energies that are of this ascension, to help them keep pace with what's going on in these new energies. And then Soul Convergence is about taking advantage of the opportunity to heal now. It's about accessing our deep trauma, our deepest wounding, and bringing it to the surface to integrate, to unify, and help us to connect to our balancing our masculine and feminine energy.
Right.
So that's really how I'm working with people now. And then I share messages, as you guys know, about the shift in consciousness and what's coming, which is good news. What's coming is very good news.
Share what's the latest word from the angels?
Latest and greatest, they kind of go in jags where they talk about a particular topic, and lately it's all about the flash of light. And it was interesting. I had forgotten that they had first talked about this back in 2020. And I didn't understand it. They called it the wave of wonder back then. And I thought it was something that was happening soon. You know what I mean? Back then, I didn't understand that they were kind of giving us this lead in. It's like, yep, they gave us lots of time. Yeah, to kind of prepare. But now they're talking about it a lot. And they said there's going to be 3 waves of energy that come to the planet. And the first one is coming soon. And my fingers are crossed that it's like spring, because they said the energy is heavy in the spring. There's something big's coming in the spring of 2024 this year. And I'm hoping it's this first wave of light. And they say the first wave of light, they said it hurts no one, that it will penetrate all of us, that it'll penetrate every single thing on earth, that there's no chance that anybody's going to be missed by this light. So there's nothing special you have to do. You don't have to be, the bodhisattva to get this light. You will know, everybody will get this light. And it is a shifting a frequency that will shift and change us. And they said that the only thing you got to do is to be willing. And the only thing that prevents you from not receiving this is being extremely attached to the way things were. It is this energy of resistance comes from the desire to keep things the way they've been. Yeah. And that creates, so the only way that we can possibly be harmed by that is through our own resistance, right. Is our desire not to change. So, and that's, they have to respect our free will, right?
Yeah.
So fear can come up for people because it's different. Yeah. It's fear of the unknown, not knowing what's happening. And sometimes people will knee jerk into fear as a resistance to change just because they don't understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. And it's human, it's totally human to be afraid of things we don't know, because we have been taught that the way we survive is by reacting appropriately to dangerous things in our environment. You know what I mean? That right. being knowledgeable has meant survival. And we are now being asked to let go of that aspect of what it is to be human and to live in a new way and to live in a dharmic way, which the way they describe it, it's like living on the edge of a wave and just being in that flow and letting that wave move through you and just trusting that everywhere you're going, moment by moment, it's like you're living on the precipice of the next now constantly. And you're just in that process of whatever's right in front of you is what you are working with and creating from and creating with. And it's a totally different way of living. And it has nothing to do with all of the skills that we've thought have been so important in terms of our success and survival up until now. Right. So it's a major departure in what it is to be human.
Right. Or
well,
if
it sounds like the mindfulness teachers are going to be very busy.
Yeah, I think all teachers, I think everybody out there who feels called to be a healer, I think that if people are going to need help. Like, I think that is the truth. So, I think I would definitely share that in terms of your audience, is the people people who are led, and drawn to you, who I'm sure are people who are the old souls of the world, who are drawn to spirit and to feel that calling and to recognize like the time is now to really to develop yourself as, to discover your gifts, develop your gifts. Yeah, the time is now, because we will be needed.
You mentioned 3 waves. Did you get a feel for what the other 2 will be about?
I have not gotten a lot more information on the other 2 waves. They said some stuff about it, that I believe that each one becomes more intense. The different waves, it's like a small, medium, large.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so I think and I don't know when they're going to play out. Like, I don't know how quick. I think the first wave is soon, and they're just looking at the fact that now it's like every message is about this in some way. And so I think the first wave is very, very soon. But one thing they said about the first wave, they said it is the moment that we will look back on and say, that's the moment that everything changed. And I believe it'll be a thing that people won't realize at first how impactful it is, but it'll unfold, and we will then realize, like I said, this is the moment that changed everything.
Wow.
Yeah.
So it feels like a true before and after that, with a little bit of history to it, we'll be able to know. And it feels like vibration and frequency are rising, but everyone's becoming aware of it who may not have even known those terms.
100%. And I think there will probably be people out there who are activated by this, who all of a sudden start seeing angels, and all of a sudden start having, clairvoyant experiences and clairaudient experiences. And like, I think that, and then boy, are they going to want some help. Like, what's happening to me? So like, I absolutely, I think it will be very activating for people, 100%. And do you know what? Just a couple days ago, yesterday, the day before, I heard about from people, I think on my channel, somebody was talking about this, and then all of a sudden it's everywhere, is this star that is called Betelgeuse. Have you heard about this?
Mhm.
You've heard about it, Greg? Yeah,
Betelgeuse. Yeah,
so it is my understanding is that Betelgeuse is on the, where is it? On the belt of Orion, isn't that right?
I
Or
think
somewhere
so.
like that?
Yeah. Mhm.
And it is a getting ready to explode. That is a very, very old star, and that it is all of the science shows, like they were like, this is like from science. This isn't from our woo-woo community. This is like where science and spirituality meet.
Astronomy.
Right.
Yeah, and they were looking at it through the Hubble telescope, and they saw that it is in the process of collapsing on itself, which would mean like, what do they call it? Like a supernova type,
Supernova. Right.
yeah, supernova explosion. And it's close enough that it would mean it would generate that enormous wave of light.
Right.
And and the funny thing is, because it's so far away, it's something like 470 billion light years away, that what that means is that this actual event, if this is happening now, this event actually happened in the 1400s, and we are now, the light is just now going to be reaching us.
So
So
My
we
cool.
are seeing it as
goodness.
if it's happening now, but it actually happened in the 1400s
Right.
from our perspective, right?
Mind
So
blowing, isn't it?
yeah, and people are saying this could, like the scientists are saying that this could happen in this decade, like anytime in the next. So it could happen tomorrow. We could see it. So
Right.
it could happen in the spring. So so who knows if that's it? But boy, was I intrigued when I heard about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it sounds like it would be a good idea for people to be ready for change. Change is inevitable, and
yeah,
I've been using the analogy of the wave myself, and it's like, are you going to stand in front of the wave and try to defy it,
yeah,
or
yeah,
are you going to learn how to surf it and let the wave take you to another place that's better than where you are now? I think
yeah.
is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. Exactly. And I think it is that willingness to recognize that we don't get to control. Like the whole issue of control, I think is such an interesting one when it comes to leading a dharmic life and trying to be on a spiritual path, is that we have on one hand the understanding that we're meant to be in flow, that we're meant to experience being in the now, means not controlling, means not planning ahead, means not, but the key is that we are meant to be, like, if you think of your life, like you have a team of people in the spirit world who are there, who are your guides, who are meant to help you. Some of those are angels, some of those are other beings who are all guides there to help you. But you are the team leader, you are the captain. And we are meant to use our feminine energy. What our feminine energy does for us is it tunes in and it connects to where is it that we are meant to be, where we're meant to go. The feminine energy is the one that directs us, that chooses the pathway, that says, this is what I feel from my heart. This is where we're supposed to go. This is what's in our highest and best. This is what feels the most joyful. And so the feminine energy chooses. And then we're meant to ride the wave, and the wave is meant to take us there. But we have to be like, we choose, we direct, and then we let go. We don't plan out every little tiny little thing and grip the wheel so hard that we can't adapt to the moment, right?
Right.
So it's that learning how to be in this new fluid existence, but that it doesn't mean, like, I think one of the things, that getting back to our original topic, which is about connecting to our angels, I think there are a lot of people who say, I keep asking my guides and my angels, what am I meant to be doing? What is my purpose?
Yeah.
Tell me where I'm supposed to go. And I will say that your guides will never, ever, ever, ever answer that question.
Right.
Because we are meant to be the team captain, that we have to choose, that we have to say, and it has to come from the heart, that what we're meant to do is get into our heart to feel where the joy is. Like, the way you ride the wave is you stand on top of the wave, you get into your heart, you say, what of these choices in front of me, where do I feel joy? Where do I feel guided to be connected and living in joy? What feels happiest? And
Yeah.
that's the way you go. And
Exactly.
then once you say that, then your guides and your team can get behind you and be like, great, she's finally picked a direction. Now we can help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly. And when you just start to go in that direction, it's
yeah.
not like you go, all in a second, but when you start to go in that direction, you'll know if it's right, because it
Oh,
was going to flow so fast and so easily. When
yeah.
finally said, I'm going to write my first book and it's going to be about this, and here's the direction. And I got out of my way finally and stopped doing I don't know how to do this. I've never done it before. I don't know how to get an agent, or I don't understand what self-publishing is. I don't know how to do a cover. I don't have anybody to edit it. When I stopped saying all those words, which were just different forms of resistance to
Yeah.
expressing and to just showing up as myself, it was amazing. I mean, that book got written so fast, and people I didn't even know came forward and helped me with it, and did the
Wow.
cover and did the formatting
Oh my gosh.
and wrote reviews for it. I mean, it was like up, up and away in a beautiful balloon once I stopped limiting myself
Yes.
and
Yeah.
just rode the wave.
Yeah. I love that. I love that as a really tangible example of exactly that. It's that process of it's always us. We're always the ones that's in our own way. It's just trying to figure out how, like, where am I standing in my own way?
Right.
Yeah.
So as you said, Anne, I think what you said about choosing joy is really profound. Or we might be choosing what makes me feel the most peaceful. Or
Mm-hmm.
do I
Mm-hmm.
feel the most love? I
Yeah.
think if you choose any of those energies, it
Yeah.
takes away the restriction of fear. And the
Yeah.
control is because we've been hurt before and we're feeling scared. So we're trying to control things that aren't meant to be controlled and really are uncontrollable. But our
Mm-hmm.
ego doesn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Totally.
being able to just let go and just look at, okay, there's some delightful, amazing surprises. You're supposed to be saying, wow, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. 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 And I think I totally agree with you. And I think it is that journey from the head to the heart is, how do you navigate from the heart? Joy, love, just like you're saying. I think it's awesome. Yeah. And I had another thought and then I just lost it. Something else I was going to say. It was really profound.
Well, we're getting close to the end of the hour anyway. So let's
Greg,
Wendy.
do you want to do a quick check if there's any, are you able to check, or
I
I can
am, yeah. I
any
don't see any
live
questions at this
questions or
point.
comment? Okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
but
Perfect.
people on our Facebook group can always ask, or ask questions. And of course, people on YouTube, this goes up later tonight on YouTube, and people can ask questions there as well. So,
Well, then let's wrap up for today. Anne, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing some of your amazing journey, and just helping people think about how they can connect. And we will buzz through the rest of our slides here that we have available. So please join me for events I have coming up. In just half an hour from now, I'm doing a workshop that's complimentary on soulmates and soul contracts. You can jump on my website right now and sign up and register for free. And my website is wendyrosewilliams.com. And I always do this annually just before Valentine's Day, because I find that soulmate, soul contract energy just bubbles up and it's on people's minds. So please join me for that. Next week, February 20th, I have the lovely privilege of being interviewed by John Burgess on Beyond the Ordinary. And we'll be not only talking about how can past life regression help me, what the angels have been telling me and guides have been telling me is will actually be through the examples and the conversation John and I are going to have, it's going to be surrogate healings for people, because there's absolutely common denominators to what comes up in past lives that has people stuck and is just holding them back. So it won't be just a conversation. I think it's going to be very energetic healing. March 20th, meet your guide. That is one of the top requests I get. Again, you can sign up at no charge via my website, or please join me for a 1-hour energy healing with Q&A as a group Zoom call. And those are coming up this week on February 15th, February 25th, and then on March 1st. That's an ongoing series. And I vary the days and times to accommodate as many time zones as I can so that you can be there live. And again, just go to my website, wendyrosewilliams.com, and you'll be able to sign up there. And today only, the Flow One Plymouth Plantation, my colonial America life. It's written as historic fiction, but it is my past life. Is free via Kindle, so you can download it from Amazon. The link is included here. And for those of you who are listening and can't see the link, just simply go to Amazon, go to the book tab, put in Wendy Rose Williams, and you'll find the Flow One Plymouth Plantation there. It is a soulmate story. It's a story of healing and learning how to let go and release and not being stuck in our past. It's also a ghost story, so check that one out at no cost. And Regression Healing 1, which is a profound story of soulmate healing and forgiveness. Needing to embrace forgiveness is going to be just $1.99 on Kindle on February 20th. And you're so welcome to share those links. There's no specific number of copies, so just go ahead and enjoy those books either for free or at that discount, and share them with friends. And I always appreciate your Amazon book reviews. So Gregg, why don't you walk us through everything to do with the podcast?
Yes, join us next month, March 11th, for our next Waking Up Spiritually podcast. You can go to our website, wakingupspiritually.com, and click on the broadcast links to see all of our for the past 3 years, our podcasts. You can also join our Facebook group, Waking Up Spiritually. Do a search for that. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, do a search for Waking Up Spiritually, and you'll see our group there. Click the subscribe link, and feel free to ask questions there. And then, of course, rate and review us on the iTunes apps, especially Apple iTunes. You can come see me, reach out to me for healing sessions and events at greggkirk.com. That's GreggKirk.com. And you can visit Wendy at her website at wendyrosewilliams.com. And we just
again, Anne's, thank you, Gregg.
Yeah.
I cut you off. And again, Anne's website is her full name, Anne with an E, ANNE, Tucker, TUCKER.com. So
Yeah.
thank you, everybody. We so appreciate you being here.
We'll see you.
Bye now.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.